A huge crowd had gathered to watch Pawan Kalyan's film in a theatre in Krishna district of Andhra Pradesh. Now, Pawan Kalyan's film Hari Hara Veera Mallu was released in theatres. The premiere show of the film was organised on Wednesday at Revathi Theatre located in Machilipatnam city of Krishna district. The ticket price of which had been kept at rupees 600. A huge number of Pawan Kalyan fans had gathered to watch it, celebrated a lot and also created a lot of ruckus. A situation of jostling around the crowd was seen at the entrance of the theatre. The police had to struggle to keep the control of the crowd. Here we can see at the entrance of the theatre, there was an attempt to break open through the doors by the large group of fans who had in fact gathered for the big release. This incident happened at the Revathi Theatre in Krishna district. There were also altercations that were reported between various groups of the fans. They in fact used rods to hit at each other. The police in fact had a tough time bringing the situation under control. There was a lot of jostling that was happening in Machilipatnam in AP as well, where the film was in fact released, and we can see the crowds in fact going completely unruly. There were reports saying that the police had ensured that they would keep the situation under control, and they had enough people deployed on the ground to keep the situation under control. But these were the unruly scenes that were witnessed in Machilipatnam as well as at the Revathi Theatre. That the police were in fact struggling to keep the crowd under control. There we can see the security staff as well as the police struggling to keep the crowd under control. They broke through the barriers at the theatre gate itself. Some of them in fact vandalized the theatres as well as tensions gripped the region, and we can see how the owners were in fact trying to keep the situation under control. And here there were in fact fights breaking out within the fan groups over there. We can see how the situation was definitely out of control at Machilipatnam in Andhra Pradesh, as the fans had gathered in large numbers to watch the film at the premiere show. There were altercations that were reported on several fronts because of the large gathering, and this had resulted in a kind of a situation where the police had to intervene, and they had to in fact slowly engage in lathi charges as well to keep the situation under control, as there were a huge number of fans who had gathered at the theatre premises, and this was the condition that some of those theatre areas were. There were in fact a situation that came up with regard to the manner in which the handling of the crowd was also seen, where we can see here in the footage there have been altercations going on between various groups within the crowd itself. Fans had come in for the rupees 600 show at the theatre, and this resulted in a complete war of words between them and altercations as well as scuffles that broke out within the crowd. And these visuals show the kind of crowds that were gathered outside the theatre, and there was a struggle to keep the crowd in control, as several of them in fact tried to push the crowd from moving into the theatres and vandalizing it. Here the visuals in fact speak for themselves. They look at how the situation was just outside the theatre, and these visuals show the kind of chaos that reigned at the theatre for that premiere show. A small entry point, and people were in fact struggling there. We can see how it was difficult to control the large crowds, and the police also were unable to control the crowd, and they move into the theatre. They break into the theatre doors, and they in fact also vandalize the property near the door, and this was the kind of situation that the people had to face, especially in certain areas of Andhra Pradesh, for the release of the film.